What's up, guys? Welcome back to the XFL Newsroom One-On-One. I'm James Larson, the host of the show, and today I had the privilege of talking to DC Defenders kicker Ty Rausa. It was an awesome interview. Can't wait for you guys to see it. But first, let's cue that intro. So, hey man, how are you doing today?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Thanks for asking. So what have you been up to the last few months?
Pretty much the last few months, man. Just been really just focusing on, working out and just staying ready for kind of any opportunity that's coming my way.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I'm sure it's been quite an interesting season for you with everything considering the pandemic, the XFL shutting down. You want to go a little bit into, what's that been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, kind of starting from when everything shut down. Not the best feeling, losing your job a little bit because of
Right.
something that you can't control. But for me, it's really been just staying prepared, staying ready the whole time, finding fields and finding places that I can work out that are actually open. That's really been the hardest part, especially out here in Idaho. There's not as many as, say in California and stuff like that. And yeah, just finding a way just to always stay ready and just kind of be the best that I can be. And for any opportunity that comes my way.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Of course, with COVID, everything's just kind of been put on the back burner when it comes to this, when sports and stuff like that. It's just been pretty crazy, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What was your reaction to the league? Like when it had shut down, what was your reaction to that?
Oh gosh. It was just kind of just like, is this really happening? Because it's one thing to get shut down for, lack of funds. It's another thing to get shut down for, different reasons. But for something that's out of control of kind of everybody, that was kind of just like wasn't expecting this kind of in my lifetime was kind of the thing. Yeah, it was something where it was a shock, complete shock. And everybody was just, again, it was just like, is this really happening to us right now?
Right. Especially because, yeah, I mean, the XFL, especially when you compare it to a couple of the other like spring leagues, like the Alliance and some other ones that had come up. I mean, like they had a good formula. Everything was working, but of course, COVID was out of their control, and they shut
Yeah.
everything down. But what was your reaction when you started hearing rumors about the XFL being able to be sold, and then early August when we found out The Rock and Danny Garcia and Redbird Capital purchased it? What was your reaction to that?
Well, first, we didn't really know kind of what was going on. A lot of guys, I still talk to a lot of guys on my team, and just kind of hearing rumors about, different stadiums and stuff still having leases open and like still renewing leases and everything like that. So that was obviously promising. But then once everything was kind of selling and then they get into the bankruptcy stage or they get into the bidding stage, we heard Disney and Fox, you didn't really hear anything about The Rock, and then all of a sudden he
Right.
comes in out of left and he buys it for, the amount that he did. It's just like, holy cow, like that really just happened right now. And I think it's the best thing for the league. It's, because it kind of everything he touches kind of turns to gold. And I think he will bring in, even more factors to the XFL than what was even offered before. I think he'll bring in more, not only insight, but I think he'll bring in even more kind of just, entertainment to it as well. Just because, again,
Yeah.
everything he gets into, everything he touches, everything that he puts his mind to, explodes and it turns to gold.
Yeah, I absolutely agree there. I was really happy when I saw that news broke, and it did come out of nowhere. I mean, when I first saw the post on Twitter, I think Sportico was the first to report on it. I thought it was a troll. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know what you thought about it, but I was like, this is a joke. Like, come on, guys, this is August. It's not April Fool's. But then I was
Yeah.
like, oh wow, this is for real. Um, but going back a little bit earlier in time, the XFL itself, like, what was your experience with the league during that short season?
Yeah. Hold on just a second. Dog needs to go outside.
No worries.
Yeah, he's whining. No, it was a sorry. It was a great experience, and what I was able to accomplish there, everybody I was able to meet, just everything that went on in general was so professionally run, and it was so fun, and it was so just energizing, just every day to be around it. It was awesome. I think that there's so much to learn from it too. From year one to hopefully going into year two in 2021, hopefully. I think there's a lot more that that they know now to even improve on. And I think starting with off the field, they kind of had us in hotels the whole time, and which I was completely fine with. I think some guys got kind of tired of it, and going from there, maybe even finding, maybe even like apartment complexes or something like that where, renting all that out, or, just different stuff off the field, I think they could even improve on as well. But on the field, there's not a whole lot that, I thought could have been improved on. Maybe, you know what, there's not a whole lot I can think of, but maybe even more time practicing wise, just because I feel like some things were rushed there. But everything on the field experience wise was great. Everything off the field I loved. There wasn't a whole lot that I even had to second guess with, because it was just so well run, and I'm just excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, that's the sort of attitude, because I've talked to some other XFL players and just people that were involved in the league, and just the overall sense of professionalism, as you mentioned, on and off the field. I think they did an excellent job
Yeah.
with that. What was your take on the XFL style of play?
I loved it. I thought it was very up tempo, and I think that's what made it more fun as well, is kind of just the shorter play clock. There's more plays going on, and then just the clock's always running, and
Right.
I think that's what made it fun. There was just so much in along with it, and just there wasn't really any curveballs. There wasn't anything that kind of stood out to where I was like, oh, it's a big rule change. I don't know about that. It just, everything was fun with it. And I think
Right.
that's what made it a little bit of a different pace of play with the game of football. And that's what made it fun for the XFL and for people to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Exactly. Of course, since you're a kicker, the kickoffs were like one of the big things that was changed. Like, what was it like kind of having to
Yeah.
deal with that whole different setup?
Um, at first you kind of look at it just from how far back you are. And for us, our eyes are always kind of where the goal line is to the back of the end zone. And so you look at it from all the way back there and you're like, that's a long way. But if you kind of change your eye level a little bit and just look at, you got to get it past the 20, wasn't as bad.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of figuring out whether or not what your coaches wanted. Some guys wanted, different placements. Some guys wanted it at the goal line. Some guy, different, teams and different coaches had different philosophies on it. And I still think it's even a learning game from here, whether they want to do that or not. And for us, it was, our coaches had us place it kind of as close to that line as possible, because I think that was, the best game plan with it, because they don't have enough space to return it, because as soon as they touch it, it's game on, and you're as close to them as possible. But once you get past that part, it really wasn't bad at all.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, what was your, looking back on the season? Of course, you guys only played 5 games, but what was your favorite moment from the XFL season this year?
Um, I would say there's a couple. Obviously, starting out the first game, scoring the first points, and then hitting that 55 before half.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be right there. I loved going to Southern California, playing in LA, and I probably had like 80 people there, family, friends, everything like that, just to watch me and to get to that point, to be able for them to go to a professional stadium and watch me. It's, something that's bittersweet because it's, I wanted to be on the NFL stage, but you know what, though, the XFL was even better than what I would have thought of. And unfortunately, that game didn't go our way. I still had
Right.
some action there, but to do it in front of so many people that had believed in me and have put in time and effort to see me and to help me with that dream is always so fun and so cool. Going to Tampa and playing in the Buccaneers Stadium. It's funny because I'll play Madden now, stuff like that, and I have them as like the home team right now, just because I really liked their stadium. I really liked everything that was around there. And even one of the coolest things was, our home games where we had the beer snake going. Our
Yeah.
fans were electric. Our fans were best fans in the XFL. And, there's so many memories that you take away with it that, you can't really rank them there, but it was so fun. It was so cool. There's so many things that I came away with that, I definitely won't forget.
For sure. That beer snake was legendary. Definitely one of the
Yeah,
highlights. And then
100%.
when Oliver Luck added a cup on that last game, that was so cool to see. The crowd went nuts. Um,
Oh yeah. Well, he was a great commissioner too.
yeah, yeah, he did such an excellent job this year with the XFL. I mean, I don't really see him coming back, unfortunately, because of everything that went down, which is too bad because he's just an excellent
Yeah,
football mind. Um,
very. They definitely have to find somebody to, you know, obviously you can't replace that, but just next man up, really.
yeah, for sure. Um, a little bit of a different question here. When it comes to football itself, like what inspires you to play the game? Like what got you into the game of football?
Well, it kind of started early where my older brother and I were ball boys for the high school team my dad used to work at. And after most of the varsity games, we just kind of had just like a small infatuation with, how far somebody can kick a ball. And it was even sometimes like if they make or miss, it was just how far can you kick it? Like, that's so cool. And so after most of the games, we would, take a couple balls out there and we would just see how far back we can go. And, when I was like 10, 11 years old, I was able to make, a high school football from 45 yards. And I thought
Wow.
it was the coolest thing. And, just never really thought much of it. It was so cool that, just be like, how far can I make this thing? And, come freshman year of high school, and I never really played football at that point. I always did soccer, baseball, basketball. One of my friends, close family friends, was at one of our rival high schools, and he was a kicker. And, him and the high school and their varsity kicker then, close friends. I started going out with them and slowly but surely got into it. And then I started going to a camp nearby. And what made it even better is it was a free camp. It was called Snap Old Kick. And that's where I really started to kind of take off with it and where I really started to love it. And everybody there, there were guys who were like Pac-12 guys who were there. And, it was really where I started competing with it. And I really started to fall in love with it. And, with it, it's, there's crazy competitions that come with it. But the kicking world and kickers in a specialist world, it's so different from others because it's a very tight-knit group. And that's what I really loved about it is everybody, you have so many goofballs that are a part of it, but they're so fun.
Right.
And I still talk to this day that I met when I was, in 8th grade, freshman year. there's so many life lessons that come with kicking, but that's kind of where I started with it and where I fell in love with it.
That's so cool. Yeah, I love hearing like the player stories about what got them in football. There's always something unique in there. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. When it comes to like where you see yourself with football in the future, like what's the ultimate goal for you?
Well, not only to be in the NFL, but to be a starter and, to play as long as possible. And, that's one of the goals right now, hopefully to meet the goal. And then when I get there, to keep advancing the goals, to keep rising to even higher levels and, what I expect myself to be. And it's one of those things where, from out of college, it was to get to the professional level. I started playing arena. I started playing, went to the spring league, everything like that, just to keep rising, keep setting new goals, and to keep being even a better person and better kicker than I am today.
Right on. Yeah, I love that attitude. Just for fun, if the XFL had finished its season, who do you think would have won the championship?
Oh, we would have. We were, early in the season, and we were trying to figure some stuff out at home. We weren't going to lose at home. Our fans, our stadium, everything like that, we were going to be undefeated at home. And we would have, all we needed to do was piece a few things together on the road. Again, we were early on, but, everybody saw kind of what we did at home.
Yeah.
And we weren't going to lose there, and we were going to keep that thing rolling.
So you're sticking with your team, just going all the way. You guys would have won it.
100%.
I like that. Yeah, you guys were really good at home. I mean, you beat Seattle and you blew out New York, and then I was surprised when you guys beat St. Louis because that was an impressive win.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. At home, we were a whole different monster at home. I don't think we would have lost at all at home.
I think it was the beer snake. I think that's what channeled your guys' team.
Our fans, the beer snake, everything like that. It was electric, and there was a reason why every time we had a home game, I think Oliver was at every single one.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you guys had great fans. That's awesome. Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens with the XFL if they come back, when they come back, what cities. I mean, I'm sure DC would stay where they are because they had such a good fan attendance there. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much done with the questions I had for you. Is there anything else that you'd like to add before we wrap things up?
No, man, I think that's it. I appreciate you having me on and, kind of just talk about everything today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for joining me, man. And I wish you the best with your football future. I'm going to keep following you and hopefully see you either back in the XFL or on an NFL team because you definitely deserve it. And yeah, love watching you play and wish you the best.
Awesome. Thank you, brother.
No problem. Have a great day, man.
Just the way that you like